So I'm sorry to break it to you. It's not as simple as like attracts like. You're not just going to poof, be super happy and then that be reflected back into your universe. My dear sweet friend, your consciousness is way more complex, beautiful, textured, layered, tasty, delicious, yummy than that. You're way more than just that one dimension, that one layer. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about the 7 scene mirrors. So how your consciousness is actually reflected back to you. It's not just as simple as this is what I am right now and that's what's being shown back to me. And I'm pretty sure that's been your experience too. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been here right now listening to me, us, you and I, having this conversation. So if that floats your boat, then stick around. Beautiful beings, my name is Taryn Nightingale. I'm an energy intuitive and higher consciousness channel, and on this channel we awaken you to your true self. That's your most authentic expression in human form. I totally believe that you're your own spiritual teacher and that your life is your biggest teacher. And this is a concept I'm going to be diving more into in this channel. So if you like that, I put out content on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sundays. So if you're new, remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. So let's jump into the first mirror. You'll notice as we go through the 7 mirrors, they become subtler and subtler and subtler. The first mirror is a lot more obvious, and once we get down to the 7th mirror, you'll see that it's a lot more subtle. So the first mirror is what's called the mirror of the moment. And this is the mirror that we are all familiar with. This is the mirror that the law of attraction talks to us about, that like basically attracts like. So this is that whatever is being mirrored back to you in your experience is a reflection of where you are in that moment. And what I've noticed is this can come in 2 ways. So firstly, number 1, say for example, you're having a really slow day. You go to work, the traffic sucks. Then once you're at work, everybody's just slow. Maybe your laptop's not working. Maybe the coffee machine stops working, and everything is causing you to slow down. There, could be a lesson in that for you. That maybe what's being reflected back to you is that you need to slow down. So this is the first way that it can show up. Secondly, it can show up in the way where you're feeling amazing and awesome about life, and life is just very plainly, simply mirroring that back to you. Mirror number 1. Mirror number 2 is the mirror of that which is judged. And this also shows up in 2 ways. So what is this? That our reality reflects back to us what we judge. So the first way that this can show up is, say, for example, you really dislike dishonesty. You intensely dislike it. You hate dishonesty. So because you have such a resistance to this experience or this quality, this characteristic, you've placed a charge on this experience. And then what starts happening is, because you've charged this experience in this way, you start drawing that into your reality. You start attracting that into your reality, and then that is reflected back to you. So it's actually teaching you a lesson about judgment. You could equate it to the common phrase used in New Age spirituality of what resists persists. So what you're trying to avoid, you've placed a charge on it, and thus it's being reflected back in your reality. The second way that this mirror can play out is where you're attracting or experiencing people or experiencing events and circumstances in your reality that reflect something that you don't allow within yourself. For example, maybe you have a family member who gorges themselves on all the most unhealthy food out there. They're eating burgers, pizzas, chocolates, crisps or chips, whatever you call them. And you're being super healthy. and it really irritates you, and you find that this experience is showing up, showing up, showing up again and again and again. And this is probably because of your judgment for not allowing yourself to have that experience. Maybe all you want is to eat a burger too. That's mirror number 2. That which we judge. The third mirror is the mirror of that which has been lost, given, or taken away. And this mirror usually plays out in relationships. So we may find ourselves magnetically drawn or attracted to someone. Maybe we just meet someone and we just have this like sense with them, or we lock eyes with someone and we look at them and there's this like electricity that's shared between the two of us. Something in our body lights up when we see this person. And usually it's because this person, and this can be a friend, it can be a colleague, a romantic partner, it could be even a stranger, it could be in a relationship with a lifelong friend or someone that you just have a fling with. But this person that we have this magnetic, electric kind of attraction to is representing something and reflecting something to us that we've either lost, given away, or that was taken away from us. What do I mean by this? Let me give you an example. Say you had a relationship with your father where you didn't get the love and affection that you would have liked as a child. So that kind of masculine love, that fatherly love, wasn't given to you. So maybe as an adult, you find yourself drawn to older men. This is like the common daddy issues. So to stick with our daddy issues example, someone who keeps finding themselves in a pattern where they're in relationships with older men who don't give them the affection and the love that they desire. Once they can see what that mirror is reflecting back to them and then deal with the core of the issue, the mirror dissipates. The fourth mirror has to do with the most forgotten love. And this usually plays out in our addictions and our compulsive behaviors. Now, most of us have this very basic understanding of what addiction is and think that it's usually related either to drugs or alcohol or prescription drugs or something like that, something in that sphere. But addiction can be functioning on a much more subtle level and on a much broader scale. So for me, what I found that I had an addiction to was relationships. Now, this is not the same way you'd speak about love and sex addiction, but I found myself going from relationship to relationship to relationship. I'd be in one relationship, I'd have a breather of about 2 months, and then I'd be in another relationship. So I'd never really be single. Another of my addictions / compulsive behaviors was addictive thought patterns, certain thought patterns that would go on loop, and I'd always want them there. That's another example of an addictive or compulsive sort of behavior. And these sort of patterns and behaviors that we find ourselves entering into is a way for us to have reflected back to us what it is that we most desire, that we most love, our most forgotten love. So what happens is the addictive or compulsive behavior starts pushing us away from that which we love the most. In my case, with relationships, I would find that I'd get in relationship into relationship into relationship into relationship because I had codependent tendencies. So my focus would be all on the other person and not on myself, and not on loving myself, and not on being present with myself. And because I wasn't present with myself, I wasn't present with the thing that I loved the most. Me, life, God. Because essentially being present with myself, being present with life, brought me present with God. And when I say God, I don't mean religious God. I mean God that is greater than everything, the God that resides within me. And that was the thing that I love the most, my most love, my forgotten love. Another example could be a father who really loves his family, his wife and his kids, and they're the most dear things to him. They're the most dear aspects of his life. But he's got an alcohol addiction and then finds himself losing his family because of his addiction, because of his compulsive behaviors. And then the thing that matters the most to him, he ends up losing. So have a look at your compulsive patterns. Have a look at your addictive behaviors. What are they reflecting back to you? What thing are you losing because of these patterns of behavior? That is the fourth mirror, the mirror of the most forgotten love. The mirrors get subtler as you move through the different numbers. And now we're on number 5, which is the mirror of the mother and father. And this is quite a profound mirror and can be quite a challenging one for us. And what this mirror reflects is that how we perceive our mother and our father, and that's both their positive and negative characteristics, that shows us, reflects our expectations of our heavenly mother and father. So reflects our perception and expectations of our relationship with the divine mother or the divine father. And a way that you can figure this out is to, for a moment, take a pen and paper and write down for you how you viewed your parents as a child. So before you turned 13, so from 0 to 12, how did you see your mother? What positive characteristics did you see in her? How would you describe her positively? And then how would you describe her negatively? That will then reflect to you your relationship with your divine mother. And then do the same with your father. Well, how did you see him positively and how did you see him negatively? And remember, you're doing this through this perspective of yourself as a child. So between the ages of about 0 and 12. The sixth mirror is the mirror of the dark side of the soul. And this mirror deals specifically with those experiences where we find ourselves hitting our absolute rock bottom. Maybe we've completely lost our jobs, we've lost our partner, we have no money, we don't know what we're going to do. It seems like nobody has our back. And our consciousness has created this experience so that we can redefine our understanding of the universal fears, such as abandonment, trust, the understanding of self-worth, love. So the purpose of this mirror is to understand that when all of this has been lost, we didn't really need it in the first place, and that it can all be discovered within. It all comes from within. It's the mirror that pushes you to the absolute edge of your existence so that you can realize your true mastery as a divine being, as a beautiful being. Essentially, you won't experience this mirror until you've amassed all the tools that can actually help you get back from there. So if you think, oh my word, I have lost everything, I'm never going to get back, don't sell yourself so short. You're way, way more powerful than that. The seventh mirror is the mirror of the self, or self-perception. How do you perceive yourself? How do you perceive yourself in terms of your body? In terms of how much money you have, how successful you are, in terms of your love life. And then how are you measuring those things? What yardstick are you using? What's your relationship with life? What does life still owe you? What has life not given you? How do you view your life? What do you still want from life? This mirror is to show us our trust in the Creator, God, the universe, source's ability to produce anything less than perfection. So how you perceive yourself, if you perceive yourself less than perfect, you're essentially saying that the Creator, Source, God, produces that which is not perfect, imperfect. So it challenges that relationship, your relationship with what you think is possible for God, the universe, the Creator. Is it possible that everything that we experience, even if it's ugly, even if it's bad, is perfect, is just exactly what it's meant to be? This mirror poses this question. Hey, beautiful beings, that's the end of this video. Thank you for sticking around until the end. I'd super love to know which mirror is playing out mostly in your life. I would say number 7 and number 3 have been playing out quite a bit for me recently, specifically. Sometimes you can have multiple mirrors playing out, and sometimes just one, you know. So let me know in the comment section. I'd love to know what you're experiencing. And if you haven't yet, remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. And as always, beautiful beings, as always, I wish you love. Bye, beautiful beings.